Hello, everyone. This is Pastor Mike. I guess you probably know that by now, but I wanted to make this video to try and explain, to say a little bit more about my impending resignation on April 15th. Sorry if this caught you off guard, but originally we were planning on retiring this time last year, and then COVID-19 happened, and so that certainly would have been a good time for us to move, but even more than that, it wouldn't have been good to leave you without a pastor. So, but now things are starting to change. COVID-19 vaccines are coming out, and it seems like the virus is starting to go down a little bit, and things are starting to open up, and so I think that's all good news. And also, one of the unusual things that's happened is that pastors have had to stay put kind of for this past year. Been an unusual situation in the church where there hasn't been a lot of movement, and so I really anticipate some movement here amongst pastors looking for a new call. And generally, they like to do that in the spring or summer, sometime like that. And so that's why it seems like maybe this is a good time. Prince of Peace can get a call committee going and kind of work with some of our denominational people. And maybe, God willing, you'll have a new pastor in a shorter time rather than a long time. But I would just like to say, though, that it's been a privilege to serve here at Prince of Peace. You're a great group of people, and you've certainly honored me with many pastor appreciation Sundays. You supported me through all of this time, and the other thing is, I mean, you had to put up with really a lot of bad jokes from me. You've suffered through that, and still held up your dignity. I'm not sure I did, but anyway. It was way back in 2004 that I started in at Prince of Peace, and this 2021. And one of the things that pastors struggle with is, you don't want to stay in a place not long enough, and then on the other hand, you don't want to stay too long. And so, one of the things that Sue and I have talked about is just that it's time for less stress in our lives, but more importantly, to be around our family and grandchildren. And we haven't really had a whole lot of time off in our lives, so maybe it's a good time for us to do some of those things that we've always wanted to do and never seem to find time to do them. Um, I've been here for 17 years, and the only place I've been any longer than that was when I was growing up on our farm in Montana. And really, this is the longest Sue has ever been in one place, and in all of her years of growing up, this is the longest in one house. And she's really enjoyed being here in Casper, and especially being a part of Prince of Peace Lutheran Church. This time of parting and saying goodbye is hard on both congregations and pastors, and I've been through this before, and I know there's an element of maybe sadness and anxiety, but we can work through that, and our calling is to move ahead with being Christians, serving the gospel. We are supposed to encourage one another and pray for one another and move into the future that God will provide for us. So I feel like I can move ahead, and I feel like you can too, because God will be watching over us. When Alan Quigg was still on the church council, he always said we need to be sure to thank people. And so I just want to say this, you know, 3 times. Thank you, thank you, thank you, members of Prince of Peace. Through all of these years and through uh, all that you've done for me and my family, we've been blessed in your midst. So I guess what I really want to say too is let's close our time together in a positive way and in a spirit of optimism. Let's carry on as we normally do, coming to worship and doing what God has called us to do. And we need to just trust that God is watching over us, because really God has been watching over us, helping us through from our very beginning. And there's no reason to believe that He won't help us through this time too. And so um, let's pray for one another in this time of transition, and let us move on in faith. And I'll just end this by the way I usually end my newsletters, by saying, God's peace be with you. Thanks again.